Today on the program, we're with Mike Pailliotet, who to me is an interesting character in the industry. I was thinking, Jeff, we need to liven up Straight Talk. So who can we get that'll help with that? And there's Mike. Mike, welcome to the program.
Welcome. Figure you hit the bottom of the barrel, and here I am. So let's steer up what's left in the Straight Talk sludge.
Yeah, I figure today we'll get to know who you are. The industry knows you, but there's a few out there who might not, the ones hidden under rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I guess eventually we'll get into some serious topics. But tell us, you're in California, and I've been to your town. You had a Mikeys Fest a few times there nearby.
Yeah.
What's going on near you?
Well, actually, I'm not in California. I'm in Nevada. I would turn the camera out the window, but all you'd see is smoke from the California fires. But yeah, I live in northern Nevada now on the other side of Lake Tahoe.
So you're close to California.
Yeah, if I were Uncle Rico, I could throw a football into Lake Tahoe up and over the mountain there. But my kids still run our Santa Cruz location, which is there on the coast, where, yeah, we had, God, I don't know how many Mikeys Fest there before it grew into what it is today. So they run that location. I guess you could say I clean part-time over here to keep immersed in all the latest and greatest trends and equipment and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I run Mikeys Board and Mikeys Fest, and I run an off-road club, and Married with Pets, and my days are full, let's just say that.
The entire American dream, everything you just said there, I would say.
Well, apparently it was my dream, because you are where you want to be, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I know, you have some pretty cool hobbies. One is riding bicycles.
I haven't ridden a bicycle in years. I moved away from bicycle mecca, which was Santa Cruz, where I used to weigh 185 pounds and rode single speeds up straight walls. And now I live in the high chaparral, high desert, where off-roading is king. We live in the land of BLM and forestry, so I can hop on a quad or side by side and just ride all the way to your house, essentially. So
come on out. I'm in Ohio. That'd be quite a ride. Quite a ride. So isn't that a little dangerous? Or do you live on the edge?
Yeah, we do get into some crazy situations, and I've ridden off of cliffs and rolled vehicles 2 or 3 times with my dogs strapped into it, and had all kinds of fun. But generally, I crash a lot less now than I did on a mountain bike, and haven't broken a bone in a couple of years. I gave up motorcycling as well, so I'm on a quad for the most part now.
Okay.
Which I really enjoy the workout of it all, and the challenge of moving a 48-inch vehicle down a 24-inch trail. But yeah, I guess you could say I've always lived on the edge in one regard. But yeah, I enjoy it. I love the distraction of it all. To be honest with you, if I wasn't doing four-buying or off-roading, I don't know how I would have made it through the COVID years.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with children's and wife and pets and all that. I need the distraction a few times a week to be out there and just focus on exactly what's in front of me, which is a rock or a cliff, and not be thinking about the rest of reality. It's the best therapy I can think of.
Yeah, the COVID years, I think it's been months, but it does feel like years, I think, to some of us. So, decades. And I feel for your pets. You strap them to the back of your quad, and they are helpless. I guess there's some trust they have to have.
Yeah, no, so she was sitting in a side-by-side when we hit an ice patch, and long story short, I got thrown after the first tumble, and she was strapped in for the second and third tumble and rolled over on and landed on her. And it took me and 4 other guys quite some time to get it off of her and pull her out, and she just pointed up and said, "Let's keep going." Not a scratch.
I figured she would treat she would treat your quad riding like going to the vet now, but maybe not.
No, she's not allowed on the quad. She's a big Opus bulldog and not a cattle dog. She wouldn't sit on there very long.
All right. So tell us, Mike, how'd you get into the industry? You started a company, Connoisseur.
Well, I started like most, working for others. 18 years old. Somehow my wife got pregnant, and I needed to make more than a vegan restaurant dishwasher was making. And Paula saw an ad in the newspaper, make $1,000 a week cleaning carpet. And there was an ad for Miller's Carpet Care, kind of the legends and innovators of the 1995 Whole House Special, the bait and switch. coupon type of things, where, yeah, I showed up with my Datsun B210 and a clean DMV, and then whatever, 3 or 4 days, I was a certified professional carpet cleaner.
Did you make your 1,000 a week?
Yeah, I was really good at it. I've always been really good at soft sell, and I enjoyed it, but there was a lot of driving, a lot of frustration dealing with people that, you know, just thought they were hiring somebody to clean their carpets and not doing this whole song and dance. So I did that for about a year. And at that point, we were ready to move out of the San Fernando Valley, a horrific little suburb in Southern California, and move up to Santa Cruz, where I landed a job with Coit. Everybody knows Coit. And I took over the Santa Cruz area in a remote, they call it a remote route, where I stayed home. I didn't go to the office. They, boy, when I started, I would have to call them every morning and write down the 6 or 7 jobs they gave me every day. And that turned into faxing and, you know, later on emails. But I would do that route and throughout Northern California. And over time, I developed, you know, quite the fan base in that area. And then in 1999, 2000, I found you and Evan Kessler, and that was the confidence it took to send me out on my own.
And here you are. Now you've moved and you're enjoying the good life in Nevada instead of California.
Yeah.
So you and I do go way back, and I do want to talk about some of your projects that are really popular. Mikeys board is one of them. Yeah. How many users are on Mikeys board, would you guess, or do you know the answer?
Yeah, we have somewhere around 11,000 registrants, and unique IPs average in the 12 to 14,000 a month, checking in and using it as a resource in the database. And like any forum, whether it's hot rods or guns or bulldog collectors or whatever, you know, you have the core group that feel the need to chime in and become a family or a group of buddies hanging out at the bar, virtual bar. And then you have the people that just use the search feature. And
lurkers.
Very much unlike the lurkers, yeah. Very much unlike Facebook, you can search a term and sit there and have, you know, whatever we're at here, 14-year worth of database on there, you know, discussing all these topics. And somehow it's the only active forum left out of very many that have come and gone, right?
Yeah, we'll have to put this video recording on there later today. Give them something to talk about.
Yeah.
In your Mikeys board, I noticed, and I've been there many times. I'm not as active as I used to be, but you have the rubber room. You have what's it called, the off-topic zone. So you have different areas for folks to go to.
Yeah, it's like a library. You know, we segment things off. We have the clean room for talking about basic carpet cleaning. You know, we have the fine fabric and textile room. We, you know, for area rugs, upholstery. We have the hard surface room, a marketing business room. So it just makes it kind of easier to search. Most of the regulars hit the bookmark the newest post, so it just turns the whole forum into one room, I guess you could call it, so that all the newest posts since the last visit just show up in one area. They don't have to bounce around. Other people, if all they do is restoration or all they're interested is marketing, they just go straight to that room. And it's interesting to see how they move around. And from the back end, we can see what all the lurkers are doing. At any given time, there's always 300-400 lurkers logged in, searching things. And most of the time, it's stuff that's many years old that they somehow found they're interested in. So it's an extremely valuable resource. And I always wonder what happened to the whole ICS database when that closed down, because that was what a gold mine that was.
Yeah, back in the day, there were many bulletin boards, and CleanFacts had one as well. But, you know, social media took over much of it. And yet there you are, mikeysboard.com, I believe, is the URL. So
mikeysboard.com. Yeah, I got to thank I have a business partner of sorts in this, Fred Cordell, and he's never been a Facebook fan, and he's always believed in the forums. And there's still a lot of really popular forums out there. Are they all 80-year-old curmudgeons? I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of young guys. There's just some people that don't like the invasiveness of Facebook or Twittergram and all the rest. And they like that they can come back and find an article with Facebook. I mean, every 2 minutes they present something different to you. And for you to find something is is a real pain.
Yeah.
It really is comparing a library to a magazine stand. I think it's the best analogy.
Yeah, there are many options out there. Mikeys Fest. Now, I've been to a few of those. What's going on with your Mikeys Fest, and what are they?
What are they? They are a gathering, I would say, of the 5%ers. The industry, I would say the top 5% are online, and that's growing now with Facebook. I would say it's now maybe the top 10 to 15%. I don't know. You would have those numbers better than me. It's definitely growing where people are coming online and hanging out and enjoying the camaraderie and the ability to ask questions. But Mikeys Fest has always appealed to, and I'll say it's the 5%, but really it's the 2%ers that take time out of their vacation schedule and are willing to either bring their wives or leave their wives behind and come and hang out with carpet cleaners for a few days and just kind of nerd out on the technical aspects, as well as, we bring in a lot of speakers. Usually they're industry superheroes that are doing something remarkable with their business and are willing to share. We average, I don't know, I'll say we average 100 attendees, which, is low by the other industry shows, but is probably more than we should have at our event, because we want it extremely personal and hands-on in the truest sense of the word. And I don't know, I guess it's been about 3 years now that we incorporated the charity aspect of it, the Ronald McDonald House, where, we have a couple days of speakers and classes and technical stuff, but then we usually finish with cleaning a Ronald McDonald House. And if you don't know what Ronald McDonald House is, basically it's a house for families to stay in near a hospital setting, where they are provided with, a little apartment of sorts and food. They feed them. They're free to these families who are, for the most part, flat broke because their kid has cancer or some other long drawn out disease or syndrome or whatever. And these families are they're worn out and they don't have time or effort to clean their rooms, which is required of them. The houses themselves are usually very tapped out on their resources. There's kind of a misnomer that McDonald's funds all this. They barely fund 20% of the cost of running these homes. The rest has to come from the community. And boy, during the COVID months, those funds have disappeared. So I suspect, much like carpet cleaning, there's a wave of homes that will be reaching out to us. Right now, they've just been canceling because they can't have anybody in. But we come in with a team and just clean top to bottom. And we've had instances where we've had to bring in exterminators or window cleaners or glass repairmen, other somewhat related, repair deals as we work our way through the home. And it's quite the event. It can be a real heart-tugging thing when the families come back. We generally try to clear the families out for the morning, clean their rooms first, and then we do the common areas. And when they come back and you get to meet them, and sometimes their kids are with them, and we've had a lot of grown men break down into tears, Jeff. I'll just say that during these cleanings, and it's very addictive. We have a lot of people that come from from our way over and over to these events, just because it's, besides the camaraderie and the education, which is really amazing what we're doing. The cleaning itself is very addictive.
You have all these carpet cleaners come into these Ronald McDonald houses. I think they're mainly for children's hospitals, maybe others, but I think it's children's. And these are carpet cleaners, and you say you clean top to bottom. So they're doing things that normally they wouldn't do in a home or another business.
Yeah, well, my big push these days is hard surface care and repair, where most carpet cleaners, as they advance in years and build a client base, they start to get, the type of client that demands a little more and would like a little more. It's not just in and out carpet cleaning. And if you develop your skills to repair tile and wood and counters and caulking and all these little things, these customers, they'll pay you your hourly rate, whatever it is, $100, $200 an hour, to do stuff in their house all day long. It doesn't matter if you're cleaning their plastic plants or or emptying their litter box. They're just happy to have you. I mean, how hard is it to find a honorable, trustworthy, and skilled workman these days?
No, you're
So
right.
once they have you, well, I mean, most of the carpet cleaners I'm talking to, they'd much rather spend a day at one house than drive into 4 or 5 all day, making 150, 200 a house at best. So there's more and more cleaners. Those 2%ers that are coming online have that approach, have that mindset. And Brian Thompson, Brian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ex Turbo Hybrid, Legend Brands, very much in the hard surface, very talented guy. He and I started talking about doing a class like this, because so many people they have that client base, they just don't have the skills. I mean, how many carpet cleaners, how many humans in general nowadays grew up without a garage and a workbench, or a father figure, never learned how to do all these little handyman sort of things? And they are very easy to teach, very easy to learn. You just gotta, you gotta be honest with yourself. And we did a video on this, but you gotta have a ability to focus. You can't be ADD to a certain extent. Be able to work cramped in a shower stall, or hunched over a kitchen counter, and be very detail oriented. And a lot of carpet cleaners are like that, or they have a wife that's very much like that, and she'd be better off doing that than just sitting around answering the phones. And we found quite a few that see it and want to get involved. And I think it was last November we presented this idea to Kevin Pearson at the IICRC, and boy, it flashed on him, and we put a perspective together, and he went back to the marketing committee, and took him minutes to get back to us and say, let's do this. So on September 6th, 7th, 8th at the GRC in Las Vegas, we're going to have this 3-day course, very intensive as far as all the repair workstations that we've created, practice areas that are mock-ups of wall-to-wall joints, floor-to-wall, floor-to-baseboard, undermount sink, bathtub, the bathtub wall. Create a bunch of these little workstations where guys are going to learn how to work with grout saws and caulking guns and Dremel tools and buffers and all that sort of thing. But uniquely, this first class, and I'm sure there's going to be very many of these, we have the opportunity to fix the multitude of things going wrong in the GRC itself. I don't know if you've been there and looked around, but there's some really hokey things. As that building was remodeled over and over, it went through all its different personalities, being a bank and a furniture store and God knows what else. The level of craftsmanship, we'll call it, and the install of all the walls and floors and whatnot is hokey at best, but it's going to lead to a great workshop for this class for the first time. And amazingly, we really haven't lost any students, when all the other classes are being canceled and events and everything. We had people sign up, right away. We announced it back last year, and everybody's still coming.
Well, I think they're eager to do something. And if you have this class, which it sounds like you're going to, then they'll be there. Yeah. I predict that classes and live events, once we're back to normal, will do very well.
Yeah. This was supposed to back up to the experience the following day, on Wednesday. And unfortunately, that can't happen due to the laborers and whatnot not being available to put on trade shows in Vegas. But it was going to be, quite the event for Brian and I. It was going to turn into a week and a half event.
Well, I'm sure the building will be much better off afterwards.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be a real hoot. We have the folks from Trinity OP Systems. They caught on to what's happening. They're going to come out and clean all the carpet. We're not really focusing on carpet at all in this course, but they saw the opportunity to come in and do some good, and be the ones that clean the White House. Another guy, Robert Atlas, I think he's coming in to re-stretch some carpet just for that opportunity to say, yeah, he fixed the carpet at the GRC. El Diablo truck mounts, very mom and pop-ish, where mom can't sue pop, and pop gets the COVID. He's coming out to loan his truck mount all the way from South Dakota. Just a long list of people like that see the bigger picture of being involved in this. And
Sounds like a Mikeys Fest.
Well, it is. Yeah.
So Mike, you mentioned your IICRC. You're doing some work with them, some committee work, I believe.
Yeah.
Now we'll wrap up this interview with this question. In the past, you had a tumultuous relationship with IICRC. Now you are working together. Seem like good buddies, you and them. What's the difference? What's happened?
Well, Lee Pemberton, and as dear to your heart as he is mine, asked me to be his latest shareholder rep. His son Jim took a long turn at it, and then your former boss John Downey took a long turn at it. John wanted to move on to his Siri thing, so Jim suggested me to Lee, and I really had no idea what I was getting into. I never really gave a hoot about the IICRC. I did my classes when I was with Coit. Me and all the Mikey boarders just never saw any benefit. And I attended my first meeting. I agreed to do it. Attended my first meeting, and got to hear the numbers and saw the amount of tests running through that organization, and just became more aware of just how large it is and how much impact they really do have on the carpet cleaning community. The numbers are astronomical. Most people, if you ask them to guess, it wouldn't even come close. Just how many certified techs and firms that are being educated by the IICRC. And it was just kind of a perfect storm that Kevin Pearson was taking over at the time. I met and had dinner with Kevin, and if it hadn't been him, it had been virtually anybody else on the board at the time, none of this would have happened. I would have left that meeting and just said, sorry, Lee, I can't help you. But Kevin is, he's just a guy that always does the right thing. And he believes in the owner operator, as very much does Lee. Lee's always been there for the owner operator, not for the franchises and big corporation carpet cleaners. They're going to do their own thing no matter what. But Lee's always wanted, this very much real world hands-on education to be a part of it. And he's been pushing it for his whole life, right? And it's never really happened. And when I showed him the idea I had that Brian and I came up with, I'll never forget his reaction, but he read it all, and it was pretty lengthy, what we were presenting to them and what we wanted in return and what we'd give them and all that. And he said, Mike, you've only been in there a month. You can't ask for all this. It's never been done before. They've never, supplied the building and funding and anything to do something. And you and Brian aren't even IICRC teachers. He said, I don't want you to get disappointed and disparaged when they say no, and they will. But you're moving in the right direction. Just, don't try and get so big. So, and, I sent it in, and like I said, minutes or whatever, half a day later, Kevin got back to me and said, yeah, we're in, we're going to do it all. And when I called Lee to tell him, Jim was standing there next to him. He said he literally fell to his knees. He just could not believe that they went for it. And when I finished the manual, which
looks thick.
In Lee's,
Looks thick.
In Jim and Lee's words, they've never seen anything like it in the industry. It is so jam-packed with up-to-date sales and approaches on the 7 or so topics that we're covering and how it works with the course. I had a very emotional Lee Pemberton on the phone, we'll call it that. And he had to hang up because he was just crying too much. He's so happy with what I'm doing and achieving the goals that he set after of bringing, real world hands-on education to the IICRC that, he had to hang up.
Yeah.
That way. But Brian and I are just super stoked. I mean, it's what we're going to do. And we have 25 students there, and I think, 20 of them are going to get it, and it's going to rock their business and rock their lives and really change things for them.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to doing it again. But like I said, this first time, like most things, is going to be, extra special.
Yeah. We'll get through this one and schedule a bunch more. You'll fill them up and make a difference. So
Yeah.
Well, Mike, it's great catching up with you. Maybe next time we'll do a very serious episode on industry topics, and we'll change the industry.
Yeah. Well, when I when I started Mikey's board, it was just to deal with an addiction after you and Kessler banned me from your sites, already being socially media addicted. And
well, to be fair, I never banned you.
No, you never did. It was John Gertink and Kessler, but yeah, who knew it was going to turn into this? Pretty wild. But I'm enjoying the ride, and I find plenty of time to do it. Fortunately, I don't sleep much, so most of my carpet cleaning writings and involvement happen at 4 a.m, but that's a good thing.
All right. Well, keep up the good work.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.